Welcome to Rare Talks, where diplomacy finds its voice and stories cross borders. Today's conversations pays tribute to 200 years of Uruguayan identity, reflection, and resilience. Uruguay at 200 is more than a milestone, it is a mirror revealing how history informs harmony and how partnerships shape possibility. This special episode is made possible through the generous support of Mr. Sanjeev Shanmugam, Honorary Consul of Uruguay in Bangalore, Zenith Health Science, and ARPA's publisher, each a valued partner in curating this editorial tribute. We are joined by the Ambassador of Uruguay to India, His Excellency Mr. Alberto Guani, whose vision bridges continents, from trade corridor to cultural collaborations. This dialogue uncovers the thread that bind Uruguay and India in quiet strength and sheer purpose. Let us walk together through time, trade, and tenderness as we mark the bicentennial, not just with the flags but with
Have a
friendship.
good day.
Namaste and welcome to the Rare Talk by Julia Gangwani, presented by the Blue Moon, and I'm your host. Today we make a moment of history and diplomacy of as Uruguay celebrates 200 years of independence. It's my truly honor to welcome His Excellency Alberto Guani, the Ambassador of Uruguay to India. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for giving your valuable time and joining us for this interview. So I would like to begin. As Uruguay celebrates 200 years of independence, how do you strike balance between showcasing its rich heritage and projecting its 21st century identity to the Indian public?
Well, as you know from history, Uruguay practically has been a country that was born without wanting to be independent, because our national hero, Artigas, he envisaged a confederation of states rather than independent states. But then history took us, even with a little help of the British, that they said that there was necessary to create a state that would stop Brazil and Argentina from fighting each other. That would be a middle state. And that's how the idea started coming in. We were basically under the government of what was the Portuguese Empire, that practically had this part of the continent under their government. And then we received our independence, even with the support of the United Kingdom and of Brazil and Argentina. So in all these 200 years, we have been struggling to find our identity, which has been totally engaged in sometimes certain manifestations. For example, tango is something that we share with Argentina, and candombe is also, let's say, the natural expression that comes from the immigrants that came from Africa. So we have the longest carnival in the world. It starts at the end of December and ends practically mid-April. So we have had during this century many changes in the structure of our government. For example, we even imitated the way the Swiss govern themselves. That's why many times it was said that Uruguay is like the Switzerland of America. But I always tell the Swiss that they don't want to be the Uruguay of Europe. So it all comes to a time of also when the hegemony of the United States was strong, even in the continent, and the times of the Cold War, which unfortunately created very tragic moments in our history, because in the persecution against communism, many violations of human rights happened, and unfortunately we had to live in a very dark moment of our history. But thank God, democracy returned to Uruguay 40 years ago, and in all that time we...
Okay, Ambassador, that leads me to something I have been keen to ask. How have diplomatic and economic relations between India and Uruguay evolved since your appointment as ambassador, and what key developments have you witnessed?
Well, as you know, I have arrived in India in the year 2021 in the midst of the COVID epidemic. So there were hard times in which things were closed. It was very difficult to contact people and engage into what would be a normal relationship. That fortunately started loosening up, and then at the end of that year, practically, and the beginning of 2022, it was much easier to establish contact and do possibilities of doing more things between our two countries. I have also been appointed as ambassador to Sri Lanka and to Bangladesh and to Nepal. And of course, the main interest is what I do in India. And to that, I have to rely on something that is very important. My president, Professor Jamandu Orsi, said the other days that in seeing how things are going with India, we need to press the accelerator. And that is something I'm sure and I'm convinced we have to do. We have a good perspective of engaging into more important issues together. And that will be very important when India opens also an embassy in Uruguay.
It's fascinating how that ties into Uruguay's larger vision with your presence. Ambassador, can you share a notable success story where embassy's facilitation directly enabled an Indian company to successfully enter the Uruguayan market?
Well, I always look on the fact that TCS has been an example in the sense that when there was a big crisis, economic crisis in the region, especially in Brazil and in Argentina mainly, that's when the Tata Consulting had decided to establish itself in Uruguay. And let's say they saw that Uruguay is a very stable country, and it's a country that respects into what its engagements, and also has law as a basic guide, and at the same time there's a low level of corruption, which all helps the main, let's say, aspects that the country has been very, very well valued. And after that, we also had the interest of Infogain, another technological company, established itself in Uruguay. At the same time, we have seen more investments of India in Uruguay, like a slaughterhouse and like some agribusiness companies. And also on the other side, the establishment of a Uruguayan company, Berkes, here in Noida, and which are doing a great job trying to help India combat pollution.
Ambassador, that leads to me to this connecting the dot to the another question. Which urban or state level partnership in India hold the most promise for pilot project with Uruguayan counterparts, and how do you see these collaborations unfolding?
Well, we are talking of the next generation of topics in which we would like to engage with India. In that case, we're talking very seriously about electric mobility. We are also talking about the possibility of engaging into what we have done very good, that is renewable energy, where Uruguay stands as the second most important country for the application of renewable energies in the world after Denmark. And I think there we have an interesting area that is the possibility of developing together green hydrogen. That is going to be the future fuel for the airplanes. So it's something that is very promising. And at the same time, we have to work and we can do together audiovisual projects. I think Bollywood has really developed itself into one of the most important audiovisual producers in the world. And we are very willing to engage in doing things together, and also making these companies film in Uruguay, which would be very convenient because the prices are very, very, very good. So I also think that in agriculture, we could engage into other issues. I also want to study the possibility of selling lamb to India, because we cannot sell beef. So that is the new other thing that we would like to see if we can start selling in this market. The idea is to balance also the trade balance, because now Uruguay is buying much more from India than what India is buying from Uruguay.
So when we have started talking on trade, let's move on to beyond formal trade missions. What micro engagements, example, student exchanges, art residencies, hackathons have proven most effective in deepening ties between India and Uruguay?
I would say that the main issue would be a better relationship among the people that have to do with the academy. They are the ones who also transmit to the new generations what are the goals, the perspectives that can be developed. We already have an agreement with Washington University from Hyderabad. In November, one of the teachers of the Catholic University of Uruguay will be coming to India. And we hope that this starts a new level of engagement between teachers, professors, and at the same time, then evolve with students. At the moment, we have a student from that university taking a stage here at the embassy, and he is Mandeep. He's in the other side of the building, and he's getting in contact with the challenges that we have ahead with India.
That's a wonderful perspective to increase the relation between India and Uruguay. So, Ambassador, now we come to a little bit on digital part. India's Aadhaar and Uruguay's Cedula. Not most of Indian people know that Uruguay also having a digital payment mode called Cedula, are both advanced digital identity systems. How are your teams sharing best practices for secure, citizen-centric e-governance, and what lessons can be learned from each other?
I would say that is an issue that is at the beginning, because we would like to also have a demonstration of what our system consists of, because we want to have a unique document of identity. That means it's going to be only ID, at the same time the travel permission and passport. All of them, put them together and have that to facilitate to the people when they go get their identity to have only one. And we have established the e-government as one of the main issues that we want to achieve. We want to facilitate whatever needs to be done in the state for the people, not to go to the offices, just to do it from their house using the internet. That at the same time, we have a very good Wi-Fi connection in all of the country, and that allows things to, go much faster and more convenient for the users. So at the same time, we are consistently evolving in the matters also of the embassy. We have a very good updated web page. You can consult anytime. And it's an Embassy of Uruguay in India. And there you will find the news. We try to put updated all the time. So we are very much engaged in this issue, and we think that it could also deepen ties between India and Uruguay.
Appreciate that thoughtful insight, Ambassador. And now when we are talking about the Bollywood movies in Uruguay and student exchange program, so that is everyone is asking, is it correct that India plans to open a resident embassy in Montevideo later this year? If so, how do you anticipate this development improving visa turnaround times and investor engagement from your vantage point in New Delhi?
Well, I would say that is a delicate issue, because it's been something that we have been expecting since a long time. India opened already embassies in Paraguay, in Bolivia, in the Dominican Republic. We are totally convinced that it's going to open one in Uruguay, Montevideo soon. I would like to have that nice surprise coming officially, but still it's in the study, and I understand that there are certain issues that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has to put in together in order to do that. But we would be very happy also to receive important visitors. We have already received for the change of government on the 1st of March, Minister Pavitra Margherita went to visit us. He was very welcomed, and he met our president too. Now there's going to be a meeting in Rio de Janeiro between Prime Minister Modi and my president. We hope that that brings also a longer and solid standing of the perspectives we have in engaging in a more, let's say, I would say, faster and convenient engagement between the official authorities. So we have been waiting for the MEA to take these actions, and we are convinced that they're going to come sooner or later.
I'm sure that will be one of your biggest achievements to get the embassy in Montevideo. And wish you all the best for this upcoming meeting with the two high-profile dignitaries in Brazil. Ambassador, cultural diplomacy often highlights tango and literature, what we are talking since beginning right now. But lesser-known art forms like candombe, drumming also carry Uruguay soul.
Yes.
Which niche cultural asset are you championing next in India to promote cultural exchange?
Well, we have been thinking that, for example, constructivism art is one of the issues that we would like to expose more in India. Torres Garcia was one of our main painters that he also did a great job, and he was the one who installed the constructivism in art. And we think also candombe, that comes from our inheritance of culture from Africa. We have been having last year a tango singer, Natalia Bolani, that she came to perform here in New Delhi and also in, where is it? Well, another Indian state, I don't remember now. And we have had her very impressed about the interest that people have in tango here. Yeah. And at the same time, it is an issue that we share that value with Argentina, because tango is practically a cultural issue that we have had with I was trying to say that she presented herself also in Bangalore. Mm. Okay. So we are very much trying also to see if we can increase her cultural exchange and to establish a more active cultural diplomacy through the fact of also having India presents itself in a more evident way in Uruguay. People in Uruguay are already taking contact to Ayurveda and yoga, and there are two things that we are very much interested in expanding with India.
It's really very inspiring to hear this, especially for our audiences in India. Hope for the best. Uruguay's carbon neutral roadmap and India's renewable energy ambitions align naturally. How have you translated high-level declaration into targeted embassy-led workshop or pilot projects to drive sustainable development?
This is a very sensible issue to my country, because we think that we have done a very serious and consistent matter with renewable energies starting the year 2007 until now. This has positioned ourselves as the second most the country that uses the most renewable energy. And we think we can share also our experiences. We have established, for example, a career. You can turn to be an engineer in renewable energy from Uruguayan university. And that is something that we have tried to expand in order to assist other countries in the region, that they are also establishing wind farms and solar installations to have people to know how to assist in the technical side and expand our knowledge also to be able to produce some of these elements in Uruguay. So I think that certain workshops or pilot projects could easily be established with India, and I would offer the Indians also this possibility to give technological capacity to its students in order to have them or some of them assist to our technical university.
Thanks, Ambassador. Do we have any pilot projects running right now in India?
No.
In Uruguay?
Well, in Uruguay, we have as I tell you, for the region, but not for India.
With Indian partnership, there is nothing at the moment.
No.
Okay. So, in an era of digital embassies, how is your mission experimenting with innovative tools like virtual reality tours or online consular chats to reach stakeholders across India? Because that is again a very important point to touch the tourism industry.
Well, we have been lucky enough also to engage with you, where we have had already a podcast, and we're trying to captivate the interest of many people that we know want to know more about Uruguay. It's a matter of exchanging points of view and also to reach possible stakeholders in building new bridges among our two countries. So I think this is also a very important aspect that we want to enhance to promote and give more attention to digital embassies.
Yeah, because virtual reality tours, Europe and some Gulf countries, they have brought it. And looking forward to have in Latin America, starting with Uruguay.
Sure, we will be very much willing and honored to engage in such a project.
Fine. Looking forward to that. So, Ambassador, before we wrap, there is one final question to look forward. What makes Uruguay a strategic gateway for Indian exporters and investors in South America, and how can your embassy support businesses looking to tap into this market?
Well, we are very much compromised in the fact that, Uruguay wants to be a natural hub for Indian to expand from Uruguay to the rest of South America. The example of TCS has proven that we are a serious and responsible partner, and that was what makes us want to do more things. I know that the market in Uruguay is small. We are a population of only 3.5 million. But we have the richest part of the continent right next at our doors. The northern part of Argentina and practically the southern part of Brazil are very close to us. We have a very good infrastructure of roads that can connect and can also make these possibilities. I was reading now that we have made an agreement already with Peru to enlarge our trade capacity. One of the defects that I always say we have, unfortunately, in our region is that we do not do much trade among our countries. And that's something we have to change, because that's also going to open and make of us a wider market. And that is also an attraction for Indian companies. So we're trying to enhance that capacity of them to see us as a hub to expand to the rest. And that's something that it's already in the plans. India has discovered that South America is a very important market. During these past years, it has sold $50 billion, and India expects to sell to South America $100 billion by 2030.
Oh, interesting.
So that
And
means,
before that, you said 50 billion.
yes.
Yeah.
So that means that we are a very potential regional zone in which to pay attention, because we even do much more business between our countries with India than what India does with some of its neighbors. So I think the numbers are there. The market is also there. India is a very evolving economy.
Yeah.
It's going to be the third economy in the world already in 2030. And we are expecting that this, with development of India, we can also have India as a good partner for much of its production, and at the same time have India consume our products.
What a wonderful perspective, and wish you all the best on this. But before we let you go, here is a rapid fire round. We ask all our, I started from my previous podcast interview. So now you're the second one. And in this, you don't have to think anything. One word comes to your mind, just without thinking, you can reveal that. So let's wrap up with a quick round and short question, instinctive answers, no overthinking. So shall we start?
Yes,
Montevideo in one word.
fabulous.
Yerba mate or Malbec?
Yerba mate.
Your favorite moment since arriving in India?
Promising.
Promising, how you define this?
Because I decided that when I would get to India, I would stop smoking, and I did that.
That's a good one. So one thing Uruguay does better than anywhere else in the world?
Friendship.
That's good. A dream project you would love to launch between India and Uruguay?
Electric mobility, renewable energies, and cultural exchange.
On this, thank you very much, Ambassador, for bringing the heart of Uruguay to this conversation and to India's mind. Here's to bridges built in stories and future shaped in dialogue. So, Ambassador, thank you once again for sharing your time and vision with us on this 200th celebration of Uruguay's independence. It's been a privilege to have you to hear Uruguay's story through your voice. To our listeners, thank you very much for being part of this special edition of the Rare Talks by Julia Gangwani, presented by the Blue Moon. Stay curious, stay connected.
As we close this chapter of Rare Talk, we celebrate more than Uruguay's bicentennial. We celebrate the way two nations listen, learn, and leap forward together. Our heartfelt thanks to the Ambassador of Uruguay to India, His Excellency Mr. Alberto Guani, for lending voice to a journey shaped by trust, curiosity, and thoughtful diplomacy. This episode was made possible through the generous support of Mr. Sanjeev Shanmugam, Honorary Consul of Uruguay in Bangalore, Zenith Health Science, and Arpas Publisher, partners who believe in the power of dialogue to shape legacy. To our listeners, may this conversation remind you that behind every headline of international cooperation lies a human heartbeat, a moment of connection, a story shared. Until next time, keep listening for the Rare Talks by Julia Gangwani, because sometimes the quietest stories echo the loudest. Until then, thank you, stay safe, see you soon.